Changing up some things in his diet. Yeah, 6 pounds, right? 1 week. Oh, but wait a second. Oh, the dietitians out there. Oh, you can't lose 6 pounds in 1 week and it be healthy. No way, no possible way can you do that. Well, guess what? He didn't starve himself. He actually didn't even cut down calories, right? What did he do? He cut down shortened his eating window, and he also decreased his carbohydrate load, right? His carbohydrate toxicity load, right? And so again, we were able to see 6 pounds in 1 week from the men's event. So I'm going to be doing more men event, no doubt about it.
You know, kind of being as a bystander,
Yeah.
I think something that was, because we had questions from people that attended, and I think the biggest things as standing from someone on the outside looking in is that like, you men know something's wrong. Like, you know something is wrong. You know, like, you're not okay with how you feel. You're not okay that you don't have that energy. Like, you're not okay with that. And for so many men to show up to that event, I was like, wow, because I mean, there's a difference within how medicine treats women and how medicine treats men. The truth is, medicine just ignores women, like pain levels. You know, they'll disregard the struggle and the suffering that women go through.
How many years was fibromyalgia not a real thing?
It wasn't
right?
real. How about chronic fatigue right now? It's like this, oh, that doesn't exist. Adrenal fatigue doesn't exist. But these women are going in and out and saying, I have a problem. But with men, it's as if it's not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, you are down, or you're struggling, or oh, it's no big deal. We've got this. Get on a statin, get on a blood pressure medication, toughen it out, suck it up, go at it. And that's the one thing I noticed about all these men being there. They were all just like no, like they all wanted to do something different, which means they are a representation of the overall male population all over the U.S., that you guys know that there's a problem there, that you know that this isn't right, this isn't okay. You're just looking for those answers, and you know, that's what we did. And so I do want to say, we're about to send out our notes from the talk. It's an ebook. If you would like the notes from our talk, if you would like the ebook, you can do two different things. Find us on Facebook at Drs. Warren, DRSWARREN, or give us a call at the office at 423-362-5360. We're sending out the ebook this weekend with the notes that Dr. Nathan went over, and including his Superman smoothie recipe that everybody wanted him to share, because it's a great way to really help naturally boost testosterone. So find us on Facebook at Drs. Warren.
Awesome. Yeah, and so again, guys, this show, just for those of you that are tuning in, whether you're on the radio or you're on Facebook Live, we're going to be diving into immune boosting properties, some of the best antivirals that are out there, antiviral herbs, different antivirals that we're going to dive into, whether you're dealing with the flu, whether we're talking about, you know, the common cold, whether we're talking about, the coronavirus, whatever virus you want to throw up there, we're going to actually talk about some of the things to do and some of the best ways to actually prevent.
Yeah, but what happened to the measles?
Oh, yeah. Well,
like, what happened to that? That was like measles, and now it's like, we don't hear anything about it anymore. But
yeah, for the risk of being shut down on our Facebook right now, I'm just gonna divert from that topic right there on the measles, because that's an absolute joke, to be honest with you. But either way, you guys that listen to us, you followed us on Facebook, you know my thoughts and feelings about the measles, which again is actually what I believe by 1954 was 98% eradicated from the United States of America, prior to
introduction of vaccinations.
There you go. So anyway, we're not going to dive into those stats because it's not opinion, it's actually a fact.
I mean, well, the biggest thing that I'm finding, though, that we need to discuss on this show is immune system issues, because the truth is, you guys are having a lot of autoimmune issues. You guys are having a lot of digestive things. And this past week alone, I sat down with people that, they had some constipation or diarrhea here and there, but they didn't realize that this autoimmune psoriasis or this Hashimoto's or this thyroid cancer or their chronic fatigue or their fibromyalgia is, number one, wrapped into their immune system, and number two, wrapped into their digestive health.
Yeah.
So guys, you having constipation or diarrhea, or going 4 times a day, or going once every couple of days, it's not a whatever thing. And when people come in, that's kind of how they address it. They're like, I'm lucky if I go every 3 days. That's a big freaking deal.
Oh, yeah.
That's not I don't poop. That means you're not getting rid of old hormones, that those hormones get reabsorbed and they destroy your DNA, making you more susceptible to hormone-based cancers like breast cancer and prostate cancer, testicular cancer, ovarian cancer. Okay, this is for men and women. But then you're not removing toxins. Then you're not also absorbing and taking in your nutrients. So then I have other people that are coming in here. They don't have symptoms of gut health, but I see that they have like systemic issues like thyroid is off, man, your testosterone is down, you have some skin issues, you're tired. And then you decide to go to like Whole Foods or something and get supplements, and you're not even fully absorbing the supplements that you're taking because your gut is a mess.
That's a good point.
This matters. Like your immune system matters, because that means you can fight the cold or the coronavirus, the measles. And just so you know, even this, think about this. Studies have found the high dose vitamin A decreases the length of having the measles and the severity of the symptoms. Vitamin A. So vitamin A deficiency is going to be a big deal. So your immune system is already a wreck because of your gut, and now you're not even absorbing the nutrients that you're consuming. And so when we're looking at your body, these symptoms that you kind of write off on a daily basis, they're going to come back, and they're going to come back and influence you in some really serious ways.
Yep.
And a big one right now is your immune system fighting the virus or fighting even cancer.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was actually a really good point that you point out with the hormones and the reabsorption, because that's one that goes overlooked a lot, right? And yet, again, we know that hormone-based cancers are actually on the rise. They're not on the decline. So, again, that was a really big one. Yeah, if you're not eliminating, you're not helping your body to really get rid of, toxins. Then guess what happens? Then you back up and you wonder why you have gallbladder issues, why you have things like, fatty liver and liver issues, then all the way up to why your lymphatic system won't clear out, again, and it's all based on the fact that, you're not properly eliminating the things that need to be eliminated from the body.
And I want to talk about those two things that you've mentioned, because I have multiple people, when they come in for a consult, mention those two things in a very flippant manner. Gallbladder, oh, it's no big deal. You had a gallbladder attack, let's just cut out your gallbladder. A necessary part of your digestive system that helps break down fat-soluble vitamins, vitamin A.
Vitamin A,
hello. It's cutting out gallbladders. You can't even break down and absorb vitamin A, and now you're having these complications from measles. So vitamin A, D, E, and K. But then we're also looking at your ability to break down the toxins that are bound up to fat. You're not breaking down the fat in your food. This is a big deal. Just because it's a few, it's no big deal for your surgeon and he can make thousands and thousands of dollars of it. It doesn't mean that it's a good idea. Let me go ahead and tell you, every time someone comes in and they have a list of issues, right at the beginning is a gallbladder attack. Right at the beginning is a gallbladder attack. And then fatty liver in school, we learned it was alcoholic fatty liver. It usually was like a 50-year-old or plus man that drank beer at night. That was the description. We're having young girls like in their 20s. We're having men in their 30s that don't drink. We're having it because your immune system, your gut is just overworked and overwhelmed.
Yes, that's 100% true. And then again, looking at fatty liver, I wish right now that's such kind of a hot topic in our society, and I'm like, man, we should call ourselves the fatty liver reversal clinic
so
or something.
Weird.
Because I know, right? But it's so true, because again, it's simple changes in your dietary habits and really getting the body to eliminate appropriately, upregulate your glutathione, bada bing, bada boom, fatty liver is gone, right? So, and again, it's all because why? It's because there's an intelligence inside of the body, right? Again, you guys know this. It's not woo-woo. It's nothing that's way out there. If you get a cut on your hand, what happens over the next 10 to 15 minutes? Again, it starts to heal. You're not thinking about it. You're not, consciously thinking about that. That is literally an amazing intelligence inside the body that's doing that. And then you think about it this way. When you're looking at your heart's beating, your lungs are breathing. Some of you guys have never eaten real food your entire lifetime, never exercised, right? You got stress at work and with your families. and yet you didn't have your first heart attack till you're 71. Like, that's pretty stinking amazing. Like, that shows you that your body is able to recover and actually able to heal on a regular basis. And so, that same concept applies, right, to when we're talking about the immune system, when we're talking about viruses that we're exposed to. Again, so that's why this whole outside-in approach of medicine has really failed us to quite the extent. We're going to go over some of the things to actually boost what's on the inside, right, to get the effects on the outside.
Yeah, and so we're about to go on break here, but I do want to let you guys know we're going to give you a little bit of a more of a discount here to come in. If you want to come into the office, guys, we every once in a while do the 60, but today we have a special 2-hour show today. We got the elderberry lady here, and I want to make sure that if you're listening to this, that this is that one thing that you need to kick you in the butt to do something, to come in and to speak with a doctor that's going to help you get down to the cause of what you have going on and prevent disease. So if you would like an appointment time with myself or Dr. Nathan, we have 5 for the whole 2 hours, and instead of 120 to 150, that's where it ranged. 45 today. 45. Come in, make an appointment. That number is 423-362-5360. Again, that's 423-362-5360. Get one of those 5 appointment times for just 45. When we come back from the break, there's John. You're on the line. It says shout out. Awesome. John, please stay there. When we come back from the break, we'll get you on the radio. This is Wellness Radio. We'll see you right after the break. All right, we have Hey guys, so I'm gonna go get the elderberry lady, Amanda.
Yeah.
But that's a really great question because that's what I had to do for myself.
Awesome. So I'll answer that. Good to see you guys on here. Angela, great to see you. Aaron, good to see you on. Brandy. All right. So can you address absorption of vitamins without a gallbladder? This is a really, really big topic, all right? So let's kind of dive into it for just a second. I like to think of it this way. When you're looking at the gallbladder and the secretion of bile, when you, when you're looking at these fat-soluble vitamins that you're getting from food, if you do not have a gallbladder, again, you are not going to be able to absorb this fat-soluble vitamins very well. So we have to do some things to actually help with that. So some of the things I like to tell some of the gallbladder patients that have had their gallbladder removed, some of the things I like to tell them is, number one, let's start with the upper part of the digestive process, using some enzymes to help them break down their food, right, to a smaller level. Then we're going to talk about, again, making sure their hydrochloric acid production is where it needs to be with things like bitters. And then they actually need some support. So if you do not have a gallbladder, I always recommend doing some type of ox bile. Actually, my favorite supplement out there for gallbladder issues is using ancestral supplements. They have a gallbladder. Actually, it's a desiccated gallbladder supplement it's actually from New Zealand pasture-raised cows. So that being said, you're actually getting that support, from an organ that again you had removed. So that's would be my suggestion to really help you again break down those fat-soluble vitamins. So I would use again some enzymes, some hydrochloric acid boosters like bitters, and then again doing some work to really boost up your absorption with ancestral supplements, their gallbladder. It also has ox bile in it, so you've got both of those together, which I think is absolutely fantastic. When you're using this, it's going to help you break down those fat-soluble vitamins, vitamin A, D, E, and K. Now, I always recommend as well, like if you feel like you're actually seeing some deficiencies there, another thing that you can do that works really, really well is you can actually use like a liposomal formula of your fat-soluble vitamins, so vitamin A, D, E, and K. Liposomal will help it get into the bloodstream, kind of bypass your digestive process to make sure that you have no deficiencies in that. So hopefully that really helps you out with gallbladder issues.
All right, look who's here.
Yes.
The elderberry lady, guys. I'm so excited.
And let's get this right though. It's that elderberry lady. That elderberry lady, right?
Do not be confused by the elderberry lady.
The elderberry lady.
There's several around the country. But one's in North Georgia.
Well, you're my the.
Well,
like you're my the.
No, I'm that.
You're
she's
that.
She's all that and more, right? Which is really, really
Something
good.
Like
so I can't wait to talk about this because not just elderberry, but you have a lot of different
I have a
products.
lot of stuff, and it's just
really
stuff
cool.
that I started using for my family.
Wait, don't tell everyone
Okay,
away.
I'm
Don't
sorry.
do it on the air. We're gonna get even more people.
Okay.
But I'm gonna be off camera.
Yeah, I'm gonna scoot hers over here.
Yell.
You get to be on camera with me,
can
which is
squeeze
gonna be good. Yeah. So I will say this. We actually, my first time trying your product was at, what event was it? Ho-Ho Expo. Mm-hmm. And man, I drank like an entire thing of elderberry stuff in like a day.
It's not hard to do.
It's not hard to do. All right.
Hey, welcome back, guys, to the Wellness Radio. This is Dr. Rebecca Warren with Doctors Warren. If this is your first time tuning in, we're here every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 live. I'm here with Dr. Nathan Warren. We have a health center in Hamilton Place, and we do virtual health coaching all over the U.S. And so we have a special guest. You guys are going to want to have to turn this on. You're going to want to share it with your friends, with your family members. We have the elderberry lady, but that elderberry lady.
Yeah, get it right.
But John, we have John on the air. John, we're going to have to repeat your question for people on Facebook, but go ahead. Come on, you're on the air.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Oh my gosh, John. Well, thank you so much. I'm so happy I could be there. Thank you for calling in. Yeah.
That's right. He was there on Monday night. Awesome.
Yes.
Well, thank you, John.
Thank you so much, John. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, we love being able to do stuff that connects our community with real, true health. That's why we love having interviews on here. And if you want to repeat what you said to Facebook there,
So I know it's hard to hear the questions sometimes that we get on the radio, but we had John Cullen, who Dr. Rebecca just went and spoke at a school, spoke at the school that he's at. I think is it Fort Oglethorpe?
Battlefield Primary?
Battlefield Primary. Okay. And anyway,
it was like out there.
Yeah, it was fantastic. but she got to talk to parents. She got to talk to kids. She got to talk about how to boost the immune system, which we're about to go over here in just a second. We always love working with parents and kids. I think that's one of our favorite things to do, mainly because we're still trying to navigate those waters at home. With our two crazy, wild, insane, beautiful, wonderful kids.
Yeah.
It's a journey.
It is definitely a journey. Listen, you just figure it out and take it each day at a time.
That's right.
But all right, guys. So, like we said in the first segment, there's, the flu, which even if you get like the vaccine, it's 19% maybe.
That was at its actual peak, right? It was 19% efficacy. Yeah,
that's crazy. And then now we have this coronavirus. Really, there's always going to be something, because we're humans, we're animals. There's always going to be something that's going to come to our immune system. And so the name of the game isn't just waiting around to fight it, but it's to prevent it. Yeah. And that's why we have that. I keep on saying that.
I know.
You're not the only one that does.
You got to get it right.
Y'all get it right. That elderberry lady. You guys got to find her on Facebook. Her products are amazing, but I'll let you guys take it over.
Yeah, go ahead. I just first want to hear about how you even got involved in making all of your products that you do.
Well, it's been a journey. It really started years ago when I was one of those people that I was brought up that you go to the doctor and they give you a prescription for it and you take your medicine and that's that. And, that's how I was brought up. And right after my husband and I got married, he had very bad asthma and he had it his entire life. And we were both working like minimum wage jobs. We couldn't afford his inhalers that were extremely expensive, right? So I got to thinking, okay, well, what else can I do? I'm a very frugal person and can make do with almost anything.
That's awesome.
So I got to doing my research and I found out that there was a plant that actually grew in our yard.
Wait, this was in your yard?
Yes, that actually grew in our yard.
I love it.
He could take. I could make him a strong tea with it. He could take it and it would help his lung function.
That is awesome.
So he started, it's mullein, if y'all are wondering. It grows wild around here in Chattanooga, but in a lot of places around the world. A lot of the old-timey people called it lamb's ear because it's very fuzzy. And it's actually in the shape of a lung, the leaves are.
Really?
So that kind of gives you a connection
thing,
right? So I started making him really strong teas with that and herbal extracts with that. and it worked wonderfully.
Yeah.
He was able to come off all his inhalers and have great, wonderful lung function.
I love it.
With something that literally cost me $0.
And it was, say it again, Mullen?
Mullen, it's Mullein.
Mullen, wow, that's amazing.
And the Native Americans actually used to use it if they would get pneumonia or anything, that they would smoke it.
Gotcha, yeah, wow.
And that would help clear their lungs out. Wow. They would cough really bad and clear their lungs out. But that's really, I thought, oh my gosh, this works. It's absolutely free. What else?
Yeah.
What else is out there?
It like dove you into this whole realm of things.
It was a rabbit hole that I have yet to come out of.
I love it. Well, thank God.
You know what's really cool though? You said something like this was something that was growing around you.
Literally in my yard.
I mean, there was a time where we were so connected to the planet, to the earth. We knew what was there. Like I heard there's like it. Wherever poison ivy grows, jewelweed grows.
Yes. Yes.
Which is like jewelweed helps with poison ivy.
And there's many plants like that where, okay, you have a plant coming in and you're maybe allergic to it or there's an issue with your interaction with that plant. Most of the time there's another plant that grows around there that will help you with the symptoms that you're having from your reaction to that plant.
So cool.
And it's really crazy how nature just kind of puts that there. What you need will be there.
That's amazing.
It is crazy.
It kind of reminds me of our microbiome, right? Like literally it's like, when you may have like different bacteria that may considered be pathogenic if they're overgrown, but then your body will actually come in contact with bacteria that will help keep that, from being invasive. Like it's like the same thing.
It's amazing.
So the earth actually, again, it has intelligence as well too. Nature has intelligence. Right. What do you know? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's so amazing. So talk to us about everything that you have right now, because we've tried quite a bit.
We tried the elderberry syrup,
of course.
And then
the
sinus stuff.
Yes.
So tell us everything that you have, and then we'll talk to you guys here, because I get a lot of questions about like, I want to figure out how do I fight this naturally? How do I? Because there's a difference. Before you list this, there's a difference, because if you take something that bypasses your immune system and just, eliminates it, then you miss an opportunity to train your immune system to create memory cells to what you just fought off.
Right.
Whereas if you can naturally work with your immune system and fight it, then now you have memory cells that are going to remember this infection so that if you get it in the future, it's not going to be bad.
Right.
So what are all the products you have?
Okay, so our best-selling product absolutely is our elderberry syrup. It is flying off the shelves, and it is absolutely amazing. What makes ours a little different and special than things that you would either find at a Walmart or a Walgreens or getting from other people is it's all natural. We use organic berries and herbs in it, and it's sweetened. We have several different kinds. We have one that's sweetened with local honey, one that we use organic maple syrup as the sweetener, and then we actually now have an unsweetened version as well. Cool. Just to have something for everyone.
Yeah, it's
great.
great.
I like that you use the local honey too, though, because with the local honey, you also get to a prime. Yeah, it's medicinal, but you get to prime your immune system to allergies, like to the pollen.
Yes.
So they've shown if you get honey within, a couple of miles,
15
miles,
right?
You can get your immune system ready for the pollens.
Yes.
And not have bad allergies.
Absolutely, and it does help, and with that way, we're also supporting another small business that's local here with a local beekeeper that's been doing it for decades. So that's really amazing.
Who is it?
His name is Donald Banfield. He actually lives in Hickson.
Nice.
And he's an older gentleman, but he used to actually sell honey wholesale around town and at markets and stuff. And he retired, so now he only sells to other businesses.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we have to go and break right here, but before we do, we still have to talk about products. But I want to let everyone know where can they find you? Like, where can they find these products?
Okay, so we have 15 stores right now in the Chattanooga area that carry our stuff.
Get out of here.
Cool.
Yeah,
it's amazing, and we're going to have 16 next week. We have a new one coming.
Nice.
So I'm pretty excited. We have a list of those stores on our website and on the pin post of our Facebook page. But I can go over them maybe after the break or at the end.
Tell us your website.
Okay, so our Facebook is That Elderberry Lady, not that. And our website is thatelderberrylady.com.
Nice. There you go.
Easy.
It's that
Super
simple, right?
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Make
And
it easy.
and I think you can buy products on the website, correct?
You can, and I actually made a coupon code for people who are listening.
What? Look at that.
You didn't say that from the
station.
beginning. What is it?
The coupon code is Talk Radio. Make it all one word, and you'll get 15% off your total purchase at thatelderberrylady.com.
Nice.
Amanda, you gotta drop that like every
man,
few
that's
minutes
good.
because someone could be driving, they missed out.
Oh,
So
come
it's
on.
Talk Radio.
One
Talk
word.
Radio, one word, and you'll get 15% off at thatelderberrylady.com.
Oh my gosh,
Oh my
that's awesome.
gosh,
I'm gonna go order something.
Yeah. Trouble.
I know, right? That's amazing. I love it.
We're about to go on break. I was thinking when we get back, we can
Yeah.
talk about more of what elderberry does and those
Yeah.
herbs and all of that and
Yes.
how it can help you
Please.
during this illness season. I don't even know what this is.
No, during all the time, right?
All the time.
All
you're
the
right.
time.
No such thing as flu season.
Right.
We've talked about that
It's
before.
just cold.
That's just cool. Yeah, that's right.
It's just cold.
I like it. That's good. All right, guys. So this is Wellness Radio. We'll be right back after the break. All right, guys. All right, so here with that elderberry lady, and again, you guys just heard, you can actually go on our website right now, Talk Radio, all one word, 15% off your total purchase, which is really fantastic. Let's see, we've got a
You're
couple
celebrity
questions
now.
here.
So that's one of my best friends. If you don't know.
Oh yeah,
He thinks I
I love it. That's good. Let's see. Anna asks, any recommendations for when your immune system is too active? Ooh, that's really good. Do you want to take it? Or do you
I
want me
would love to.
Okay, go ahead.
Because there's a couple misconceptions about elderberries that people say it's an immune booster.
Okay.
And that's not really technically correct.
Okay.
Elderberries are more of an immune system modulator.
There you go. Cool.
So it really helps your body really steady your immune system instead of boosting it crazy. Now there are some people with very bad autoimmune issues that do have some kind of flare-ups with that. But for the average person, elderberries do great to help modulate the immune system
really good.
rather than boost it, which is what most people think elderberries do.
Yeah, and I would even say this too, like when if you have autoimmune disease and if you see like a reaction to something like elderberry, really, even though I know it may be painful or you may have some problems with that, really what's happening is, again, it's priming your immune system. Like, it's actually a good thing.
Yes.
Like, it's most autoimmune people actually get stuck in the Th2 response of their immune system, which is too many memory cells, right?
Right.
And so now it's attacking their own tissue. So we really want to do things that stimulate the Th1 response. And I know elderberry as an immunomodulator is great at utilizing that. Other ones that, maybe in some of your product, like I know like astragalus does that, echinacea does that.
Wonderful.
Ginseng, lemon balm, some of those things, they do that as well too. So,
awesome.
yeah, that's a really cool point, because I do think that's, you'll find like just like Google or Bing or whatever, elderberry, and it's like, oh, this boosts your immune
It's an
system.
immune booster.
So,
That's what everybody says, and it's kind of frustrating for
Yeah.
me because that's literally almost my entire business is elderberry
Yeah,
syrup,
that's right.
and everybody's like, "Oh, it's a great immune booster," and
Yeah.
that's really not technically right. It's more of an
Modulator.
immune modulator.
Good point. Yeah.
So
That's good. Well, yeah, you answered that one perfect. Let's see. Somebody said the sinus syrup is the bomb.
It is. I'm going to talk about it here in a little bit on the radio. So
yeah, that was one
it
of the
is
ones
wonderful.
we got. When we were at the Ho Ho Expo, we tried her elderberry syrup.
Yeah.
We did the elderberry gummies, which were gone. What would you say, Dr. Rebecca? Gone in like a day and a half.
That's
Maybe.
literally my kids'
Threw
candy.
down. Yeah, they like threw down on that. I was like, what the heck?
Like, they were
the
so
next day
good.
it was gone.
They
Yeah,
are good.
but here's the thing. I'm blaming our
Like,
kids
well,
for
listen,
eating
we
the
talk-
elderberry
just be
gummies.
close.
It wasn't them. It was me. I probably ate like 10 or 15 of those things. They were so good.
Yeah.
And then also too, we tried the sinus syrup as well. Actually, I will say, and we won't, we'll wait till we get back on the radio so you can go more into the details. But I will say this: when I did the sinus syrup, it was actually pretty amazing because I haven't really dealt with sinus issues in a long time. But by doing that, like, I actually noticed, like, when I slept, like, I had a clearer nasal passage, which I always try to focus on nasal breathing.
Awesome. All
So
natural.
yeah, so it must have really done a good job of like decreasing like some of my inflammation maybe
Yes.
in my nasal
Yes.
passage. But yeah, I noticed a difference like within the first like night or two, which is pretty
It's a
cool,
great
so.
respiratory blend.
That's
And it
awesome.
has the mullein in it too.
Oh, look at that! Oh, I didn't even realize
Yeah.
that. Look
So
at
it's
man.
really a whole respiratory type
That's
deal.
awesome. That's very, very cool. Yeah, and I think that's another one that we get a lot too in the office is people will ask, because everybody's got that cough for like 2 weeks or a month or 2 months where it's just going on and on and on. But having some tools that are there that say, okay, I'm gonna modulate the immune system. I'm also gonna do some things to help out, right, and prime your own immune system. That's really the way to get rid of some of those chronic coughs and some of those chronic issues too, which I really, really like a lot. Let's see, Wendy says, oh, that was a sinus bomb. Ashley says, so proud of you.
That's one of my other best friends.
Oh, look at that, man.
And
You
my
got
sister.
Where's your sister?
Yeah,
Here,
that's
Holly?
Holly. Yep.
All right, I love it, man. Good to see you guys on here. She's killing it. Look at this, first time on radio. Is this your first time on radio? Look at that. It's like an all natural. She's got it down pat.
Something.
Yeah, that's right. All right, guys, welcome back to Wellness Radio. I am your health expert, Dr. Nathan Warren. I'm here with my beautiful wife, Dr. Rebecca Warren, over there in the corner. She's just like hanging out. Yeah, in the corner over there. It's like we put you in timeout. Just get over there in the corner.
I put myself.
Oh, you put yourself in timeout. Okay, whatever works, And then we're here with that elderberry lady. Emphasis on that because she's all that and she's got all that product on her website.
Corny.
I'm a dad. I got dad jokes, all right?
All that. Okay.
Can't help it, It's just. But this is why I did my men's event the other day, and I loved it so much because all the men laughed at my jokes.
Yeah.
Every time I hit those, they were like
that was
right there to
funny,
laugh.
guys. Not that funny.
Oh man! All right, so that elderberry lady. So before we dive into it, I do want to say you said if you go on thatelderberrylady.com, right? For those of you that are listening, you made a special code Talk Radio, right? All one word.
All one word.
Yep. And how much did they get off?
It's 15% off.
15% off. Very cool. So your total purchase. So make sure you go on there. Thatelderberrylady.com.
And it's Talk Radio.
Mm-hmm.
One word.
Talk Radio, one word.
Okay, cool.
For sure. Go. All right. So we wanted her before the break. We wanted you to talk about like all of your products. All right. So we talked a little bit. Yeah. Maybe we'll talk about let's talk about your top products.
Before Amanda came on, she was like, "Oh, I'm so nervous." I'm like, "You're like a natural at this. Love it."
Yeah, you're doing good.
Okay, so we started kind of talking about elderberry syrup a little bit, and it's definitely our biggest top-selling product.
Okay.
Elderberries are an immune modulator.
There you go.
So that helps modulate your immune system to help fight things off. We also add rose hips to our elderberry syrup. So those are very high in vitamin C, great for helping your body fight things off. We also use cinnamon, and then we even filter our own water. So we like for it
huge.
to be, I want it to be a very pure product. I'm giving this to my kids too.
That's right.
Okay?
Good point. Yeah.
So, and I want people to feel comfortable giving it to their children because it does help, and it, especially during the winter months, people really need this to help protect their bodies and help their bodies fight stuff off.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, that's a big one too. I never even really thought about that, right? Like in supplementation process or other syrups that are out there, like you don't really know if they do filter their water, if they're removing some of the contaminants there. So that's huge. I love
important.
That. Yeah, it's good.
It's important. Yeah. And then we also have our next biggest selling product would be our sinus syrup. And this is an original blend that I made up for my family because these are all things that we needed and I made, and it was a big hit, so I've rolled with it. Yep. So the sinus syrup does have elderberries in it.
Okay.
That's the base of it because we want to still give our bodies that protection and immune
modulation. There you go.
Modulation.
Right, but it's really more of a respiratory blend, and it has other herbs added to it that help with things like the mullein that I was speaking about earlier.
For
I
the
have
lungs.
mullein, yes, in that for lung function. It also helps with cough, mucus, and sore throat. We also use stinging nettle leaf, which is a natural antihistamine. So this is also really great for allergies too. That's
probably the one that helped me with open up my nasal passage.
Yes, so nettle's amazing. Plus it's high in iron, and many herbs have several different uses. It also has dandelion and goldenrod, which are both local that I use.
Oh, nice.
So it's it's great. Those are wonderful for mucus and sniffles and sinus pressure and drainage and all that stuff. So it really is a full respiratory blend.
Nice.
And that's available. It's sweetened with the local honey as well. So those are really our two top selling products. But we also make herbal extracts. We do herbal tea blends.
I need to get some of that. I need to
amazing.
stock up.
And we've actually just recently launched a line of infused honeys.
Oh, nice.
So we use our local honey and we infuse it with different herbs and spices. We have an elderberry honey that's amazing. We have a chamomile honey that's super soothing, a lavender honey, and we actually even have a ghost pepper honey, which is probably one of our biggest selling honey.
Really?
It is amazing to cook with.
Oh my
goodness. Let me tell you.
Wow.
This is That Elderberry Lady. You can see thatelderberrylady.com.
It's a mouthful.
Oh yeah, and That Elderberry Lady on Facebook, and you guys get 15% off just putting in talk radio. But I think that's really cool. I just read a book about, actually it's kind of a book that looks at the Bible and how food was used in the Bible and how like food, we live in this day and age where we're so disconnected from the foods that we eat. Like we eat in a hurry, we eat rushed. And we don't think twice about it, but food for centuries in and out of the Bible was used not only to bring communities together, it was used to nourish the body, but it was used to heal the body and heal in powerful ways.
Right. Food is medicine, and medicine is food.
Yeah.
And if we could all get back to that, we'd all be a lot better off.
Oh, that's good.
And a lot of you guys are going like to Walmart or something, and you get these, or even like I think you shared pictures of like Whole Foods, and their elderberry syrup has like sugar in it.
Oh yeah. Even
Walmart,
like good brands, like even
sugar.
like and not to hate on products, but like Gaia Herbs, like they've got some really good products, and then you look at their elderberry syrup, and like the kids one, it's loaded with cane sugar.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so we know that actual sugar starts to shut down the immune system in that form, for up to 4 hours. So I'm like, so I'm giving this to my child, to boost their immune system, and yet it's doing the complete opposite of that. So,
right. That's one of the reasons I started actually making elderberry syrup for my family, because everything had sugar in it, and sugar does the opposite of what we're trying to do for our immune system.
Yeah. And just so you guys know, raw honey and things like organic maple syrup, I put those, even though, again, people count them as like sweeteners, I put those in food groups, right? Because they're loaded with vitamins and minerals, right? They've got, again, like with the honey, it's actually got, different immune properties in it. So again, I look at those, they're completely different than just taking something like cane sugar and putting it into a product. Like you're actually going to get major benefits from taking something like raw honey, from utilizing something like organic maple syrup and that high mineral content there too, which is really cool. We had a question on Facebook. Angela asked just a second ago, she asked, what's the best way to store it so that you get the most out of it?
Right. So our elderberry syrup does come in sealed jars.
Okay.
So it's fine sitting on a shelf. We have batch numbers and open buy dates and all that on the jars. And we put our open buy dates 9 months out.
Okay. Although
really a year is fine. We wanted to be better safe than sorry with that, especially with things that people are using for medicinal properties. And then once you open it, it absolutely needs to be put in the refrigerator because real food will go bad at some point.
Yeah, gotcha.
And that's just real food.
Yeah.
So put it in the refrigerator, and 10 to 12 weeks after you put it in the refrigerator, you probably need to have it done by then, but it also freezes well.
Oh, cool.
So we make popsicles at my house with it.
What?
Yes. And we also will put it in ice cube trays and freeze it. That way we can thaw it little by little as we need it, or we can throw it in smoothies.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Cool.
That's a really good idea.
We get asked all the time, like, how can I fight the flu? How can I, like, help my body? And this is just really great ways. You're supporting something local. And also, there is, I do hate, and I feel very convicted about this, about, like, eating food that hasn't traveled, hundreds of miles.
Right.
Like, there have been studies, they've looked at it even through centuries of human existence, that there's a reason why we should eat the things that are within, 20 miles. Yeah.
Yep.
So getting a product that you can consume that's a majority of it, you're getting a lot of more local stuff that would grow here, is a really big thing. And so yeah, so let's go ahead, just wrap up there with all of your information again for everyone who's like, I want some of that.
All right. Check out my Facebook page. It's That Elderberry Lady. For the 15% off, use coupon code TALKRADIO at thatelderberrylady.com. You can always send me a message or email. So, yeah.
And how do we get some of this in our office so that we can sell it?
We'll talk.
Okay.
Okay. I know. I was like, we'll talk about this later.
Why haven't we talked about this?
I know. I will say this, if people are listening, we used to have farmers bring in their eggs. But with like the temperature, like the problem is like people were just so, when they become dependent on getting really good stuff from us, and then they don't have it anymore, they're like heartbroken. So we need to get some other stuff in there so that people can buy.
For sure. No doubt about it. So thatelderberrylady.com, Talk Radio, all one word, 15% off your total purchase. I mean, again, like that's you're gonna literally, so cool. You're gonna get a better product than what you can get at Whole Foods or Earth Fare, places like that. And then also too, you're gonna get a better thing for your immune system. You're gonna get more out of it, and you get 15% off. That's amazing for sure. Well, we really appreciate you being on.
Thank y'all for having me.
We'll have to do this again sometime soon.
Yes, for sure. Absolutely. All right, guys. So we got to go on break, and when we get back, we're gonna dive more into the immune system. This is Wellness Radio. We'll be right back after the break.
Bye.
All right. She did amazing there, right? You did really good. You did really, really good.
I'm here.
Yeah, and you had like your army, you had your supporters on here and everything.
I have people out there.
Look at that. Sure. See, it's like a round of applause going on right there.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah, it's really, really good. So again, guys, thatelderberrylady.com. We have a lot of people that are actually from out of the state that listen to this.
We ship everywhere.
So that will be So we have a lot of people I know that listen from Charlotte, Texas, California, places like that. So guess what? You can get it too. Thatelderberrylady.com, 15% off. I think we'll probably post a link on our Facebook too, just in case you guys forget. But thanks for being on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me. It was fun.
Awesome. Yeah, right?
You start getting like addicted to that.
I know.
It's really good.
Can I stay? I'm just kidding. I'll be back next Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No, we're going to show up and she's going to be like, her face is going to be right there like, hey, do you guys need help?
I got backup.
Yeah, that's right.
Y'all need a break? I'm here.
There you go. Hey, we need a break sometimes. Actually, everybody that listens is probably like, you do need a backup sometimes. I go off on rants and raves and things like that.
Y'all would listen to me rant and rave for a little bit.
Jackie says, bye, girl, bye. I love it. Yeah, we need more talk.
They're
we need more
people.
Talk like that.
They're my people. Seriously.
Keep you humble, right? Let's jump and keep you humble.
I know. That's awesome.
They do.
Very cool.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead. Let's take a picture.
Yeah. Get a picture. Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's kind of dive into a couple things while we're on break here, and then when we dive back into it. And I want to talk a little bit about the coronavirus, because I know this is a big one that is kind of across the news, in our media, everything like that. Just like always, they try to make a big deal out of something that I don't believe. And even our quote-unquote health experts here in the United States don't believe either, as far as the coronavirus, that it's really that dangerous or something that we really need to watch out for quite a bit. Really, the people that are dying from the coronavirus across the world are immunocompromised people. We just talked about it with that elderberry lady, again, modulating the immune system. So we know, right, we absolutely know that, again, if you prevent it on the front end of things, that number one, you can be exposed to these viruses, including something like the coronavirus, and actually express, no symptoms. So far what we know is the incubation period is about 2 to 10 days, right? So that means somebody that maybe traveled to China, we know that it can actually be about 2 to 10 days. They can be a carrier with no symptoms. And again, that can be something that if you come in contact with, you can also get something like the coronavirus as well. But it's no different than any other virus, right? When we're looking at it, this is something that, again, not only is preventable, but when you get it, there's certain measures that you can take. We talked about some of the great products that elderberry lady has with elderberry, things like mullein for the lung health. We talked about things like rose hips, high in vitamin C. She mentioned things like goldenrod, which actually has some antiviral properties. Really, really amazing stuff. And again, we can use those as well. I will say, Dr. Rebecca mentioned, a little bit ago that one of the strongest things that we know that has some fantastic antiviral properties is vitamin A, right? Having plenty of vitamin A within the body. So if you are vitamin A deficient, there is no doubt that it increases your risk of again, not only getting something like these type of viruses that you come in contact with, but it actually increases your risk of the symptoms, right, that come along that and can prolong those symptoms. So we know that vitamin A is absolutely that important as well to make sure that you have no deficiency in it. So with your kids, right, and with you, this is why we talk about consuming high amounts of fat-soluble vitamins, right, in the foods that you eat. So what contains high amounts of things like vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin K? I love utilizing things like pasture-raised eggs. The yolk that's in those pasture-raised eggs are absolutely loaded with these fat-soluble vitamins, right? And making sure that you're getting plenty of that. Actually, one of my favorite ways to boost up your fat-soluble vitamin load in some of my patients is I'll actually have them do some raw, like a smoothies, and do some raw egg yolks actually in the smoothie. All right, guys, welcome back to Wellness Radio. I am your health expert, Dr. Nathan Warren. I'm here with my beautiful wife, Dr. Rebecca Warren. Actually, I think she's pouring, are you pouring me some coffee over there?
Y'all, we need some coffee. 3-year-olds and 2.5-year-olds are tough through the night.
That's right. But we talked about that at the Man event on Monday. The coffee that we drink, organic and mold-free, right? Organic and mold-free. For those of you that have no idea what I'm talking about, with mold possibly in your coffee, guess what? Should have been at the Man event. I talked all about it, which is really great. And again, those of you that are just now tuning in, joining us live on Facebook. Daniel, what's up, man? Dr. Daniel in the house on Facebook. Glad to see you on there. Hope you're doing really, really well. Those of you who are just now tuning in on the radio, guess what? We have a second hour coming up, which is super exciting.
I mean, that's fun. I love having, listen, if you guys are a local business that is promoting health, like if you're like, man, listen, even if it's financial health, anything that can contribute to, like, we want to spotlight those types of businesses. If you know of a business, go on Facebook, Doctors Warren, message us there, or email Mary Beth, Mary Mary, Beth, at Doctors Warren, DRSWARREN.com, and let us know if there's a business you'd like us to spotlight, because the truth is we get asked a million times. Let me go ahead and tell you, I'm actually starting, it's actually in my head right now, I haven't put it on paper, but I'll put it on paper, a list of, you have one in your head too, a list of doctors to avoid.
I already have a list. I have a list like hanging in my office actually.
You look at it every day, you're like, this is why I do what I do. No, but we know there's doctors out there that are really hard to work with.
Oh my gosh.
And then there's doctors that are just really, really amazing. Talk about, who was it in the office? Cancer.
Oh yeah, so Billy, right? So Billy, she started with us about 4.5 months ago in the office, had been diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. And again, this is something that she had actually been doing some really good stuff even before she came in the office, which was really cool. But we really put together a specific plan, right? And this is when she had just moved here. So it was actually in between, because she had, listen how crazy this is, she had to wait on her insurance, right? I had to wait because she moved states for them to actually kick in. So started working with her, put her on a specific plan, actually diving into how to boost the immune system, dealing specifically with the type of cancer that she has to boost the immune system, because we don't treat cancer, but we do things like, again, help the body in aiding its immune system. And what's really cool is she finally was able to go to an oncologist, get checked out and everything, and they were absolutely blown away with her changes. They loved it, and actually the cancer had not progressed, it had actually regressed.
They asked her, who really are you seeing, and who is this doctor? I did reach out to them. They were really, really awesome. And so that's why we do what we do, so that your health is transformed, and your doctors maybe go, hey, I need to do something different.
Right, And if you're listening to this and you want to come in and see us, guys, you want to come in and actually check us out, 423-362-5360. This is Wellness Radio. We'll see you right after the break.
Should I restart a live, or should I do 2 separate lives?
No. All right, guys. So we're going to continue to dive into this whole immune system thing, because I think it's something that we can talk about. I could probably talk about it for 6-7 hours, because it's such a broad topic. But But I think it's that important, right? So I was just talking about one of our patients, Billy, who's done an amazing job to boost her immune system. And again, that was in battling cancer. And so here's what we also know. If you are immunocompromised and you have, different types of, hits to your immune system, maybe it's starting when you're a little baby and a little kid and you're having all of these different symptoms that pop up, chronic ear infections that don't go away, you need tubes for your ears, all this kind of stuff, antibiotic use constantly over and over again. Again, you stay sick all the time, chronic sinus and allergy, asthma issues, these type of things. What we see is that you really get your immune system in the wrong place. You get it stuck in this Th2 response, which is the memory part of the immune system. And again, the Th1, which is the cell-mediated part of the immune system, is not primed and is not working appropriately. This is a big deal because your cell-mediated part of the immune system is what, when you're to come in contact with a virus or a bacteria, it is literally what stimulates things like a fever. It is what stimulates your body's kind of thwart of this foreign object. It stimulates things like these killer cells, right? These T cells. It actually sends these immune properties to this area to actually help, regulate it. And then over the next several weeks is when your humoral or your Th2 response kicks in. So if we do not have a proper cell-mediated part of the immune system, you are more prone to not only things like cancer, right, but to chronically getting sick from, viruses that are activated in the body, and then also to autoimmune. If you do not have a proper cell-mediated response. This is why one of the most powerful tools that you can use when we're talking about something like cancer is using things that help to stimulate that actual cell-mediated type response. Things like fever. So things like mistletoe extract. Mistletoe extract is actually used across the world. Like in Europe, it's used in 80% of even conventional medical therapies when it comes to cancer. They use mistletoe extract because it stimulates this cell-mediated part of the immune system. It's almost mind-blowing with the amount of research that's been done on mistletoe extract. It's mind-blowing that we don't use that here in America. It should be malpractice. It's wrong because, things like mistletoe has been shown to do amazing things and actually stimulates things like a fever. This is also why it's so great to use things like, infrared sauna and using that during, things like if the body is trying to prevent cancer or, again, if your body is actually actively, cancerine. I like to use that word there because, again, cancer is not just the tumor. Cancer is the process of again, driving that genetic mutation that's leading to cell replication. So that being said, we want that Th1 immune response, again, up where it needs to be. So some other great ones that do that, I mentioned them earlier, things like astragalus is fantastic at doing that. Astragalus is phenomenal. I love using things like echinacea is another one. Lemon balm is another really great one. Ginkgo is another great one. These are all Th1 cell-mediated response of the immune system kind of modulators. They help to train that part of the immune system. Now, for some of you that are dealing with like autoimmune disease, you may have to start kind of slowly and work your way up, right? So you start slowly, work your way up to really retrain the immune system. Another big one that we see actually in the office all the time is we'll have new patients that bring in their kids, right, to get adjusted. And so because these kids have been so chronically sick and stuck in that Th2 part of the immune system, what we really do as we start getting them adjusted, as we start working on some other lifestyle factors, again, what they'll see over the next course of like 6 months is their kids will actively get things like they'll get fevers or they'll have a runny nose or they'll get coughs. And again, they're actually having their cell-mediated immune system stimulated and they're having it, again, really primed, which is great. And then once they get through that kind of priming mode there and really revamping the immune system, then we get to see things like asthma go away, right? Which again is dealing with an issue with the immune system. Then we get to see things like chronic sinus issues go away. Then we get to see things like ear infections go away. We get to see some of these chronic issues that kids are dealing with all the time go away because we are helping modulate the immune system, getting it back into balance the way that it should be. And that's really what we are looking for, okay, most of all. All right, so as we're diving into these things, I think it's important to know that just because I'm going to be talking about things like supplements, just because we're talking about things like different herbs, does not negate the fact that your diet, right, and lifestyle it plays, I think, an even bigger role in how well your immune system actually works, right? So when it comes to things like diet, we touched on it in the first segment, that actually your diet alone, if you are consuming high amounts of processed sugar, we know that alone is shutting down your immune system, right? You know, something equivalent to a 12 to 16 ounce Coke, you know, or something of that nature will shut down your immune system for 4 to 5 hours, right? And some people are consuming, you know, 2 or 3 of those a day. Really, your immune system's not working throughout the day, and then you wonder why 10 years later you're diagnosed with cancer. Again, it's been an underlying problem for years. So we really want to make sure that we're first addressing it from a preventative standpoint from the diet, right? And really making sure that we got that primed up and owned in. If you are not eating a healthy diet, guys, we are really missing the boat there. And when I say healthy diet, I really don't like the word diet. Oh, I should use the word lifestyle, right? Is a much better word there. Angela asks, is immunoberry and elderberry overkill for building the immune system? You know, I would say, you know, depends on the time of the year, and it depends on what you're dealing with, right? I would say maybe in a world where your kids are going to school with all kinds of other kids that unfortunately are, you know, maybe it's with the lack of resources, the lack of information, or, you know, just the blatant, you know, ignoring the problem. They're going to school with kids that, you know, really have no immune systems working very well. You know, they're chronically sick all the time. I'd say in a world like that, no, I don't think it is overkill at all. Like, especially during like maybe the winter seasons when everybody's seemingly getting sick and really expressing symptoms. I think that's a great time to use maybe both. Now, the rest of the year, yeah, I don't think I would use both of those. Maybe choose one to boost the immune system when need be. All right, when need be, because especially like when you hit more spring, summer, right, fall, we're able to get outside, we're able to be in the sunshine, you know, you're able to walk barefoot on the earth, which we know helps to increase your negative ions into the body and improve your immune system and drain your lymphatic system, help you better adapt to stress. So all that to be said, you know, I don't really think that you need to take this year round. I think that again, once you hit like where you're able to get outside a lot, you can start backing off of that a little bit. But you know, during this time, it's hard. It's really hard to actually get outside all the time and again stay outside all the time. So in the meantime, yeah, use immunoberry and elderberry. I think that's great. And again, those of you who are just now joining us, if you missed our first segment with interviewing that elderberry lady, you can actually get 15% off of all of her products at our website using the code TALKRADIO. Oh, cool. Yeah. Very cool. Oh.
Welcome to our special second hour of the Wellness Radio. This is Dr. Warren. Dr. Nathan Warren is here with me, Dr. Rebecca Warren, and we're usually here from every Saturday from 10 to 11 live, both on the radio and on Facebook at Dr. Warren. And we're so excited. That first segment was really devoted to plugging in and uplifting a really cool local business, that elderberry lady. If you'd like to know some more information about what she does, you can go to our Facebook page and watch that first part of the segment between 10:25 and like about 10:45. She was on here for quite a bit talking about how to boost your immune system naturally. And for anyone that's listening, she ships nationwide. And so what we want to talk about is kind of like boosting this immune system and really preparing you and your family's body. And this matters. It matters so much because at a time where antibiotic resistant bacteria is killing people, at a time where cancer, the war on cancer, is just trillions of dollars put into it, and we're still having this war on cancer, at a time where, you have heart disease, like you have all these kind of lifestyle related diseases that need to be addressed. And when it comes down to it, it's our immune system is so out of whack. Now, before I kind of go in deeper, Anna let me know that there's people that were interested in getting the information packet from the Ultimate Guides to Men's Health.
Awesome, yeah.
So we had our event on Monday night.
Yep. It was amazing.
It was packed out, like to the point where we had to get like more chairs. So we were prepared for that. But it was really cool because it was an event that was really eye-opening for me, because it allowed me to realize that men are really kind of struggling to wrap their head around how they're feeling and how they got here. I said in the first hour, like it was just like this light bulb went off in my head that within medicine, women are downplayed. Like you have, period pain. Is it heavy? Is it, horrible? You have fibromyalgia, you have chronic fatigue, and it's kind of just written off. Like it's kind of like, well, it can't be that bad. And really we're kind of ignored. And then what I realized from the talk on Monday is that, holy crap, the women are ignored, but the men is as if like toughen up and just deal with it.
Just deal with it,
like,
yeah. If it's not broke, don't fix it type of attitude.
And so like you don't feel like yourself, you're gaining weight, your sex drive is low, you're not connecting with your partner because you're not ever, able to connect with them on that end.
Yeah.
You're struggling with performing in the bedroom, and this is all internalized. You kind of put it inside of yourself. And one thing I realized when people submitted questions, because we allowed people to submit questions ahead of time, the questions were all like the same.
Oh yeah, it was all similar. Yeah.
And you don't realize that there's all these men that are just like you that are really struggling because the treatment is kind of the same. Like the treatment is injections, statins, and all of this. And so our goal with creating that event was to let men know that they're not alone, that this is the real information. And you loved it because they laughed at your jokes.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And interacted with
all my dad jokes. Yeah.
And so I will say, we'll start talking about our new program, our men's hormone reboot program. But if you would like to get an ebook of the information, it's pretty much the notes and Dr. Nathan's Superman smoothie that really boosts testosterone and growth hormone. Either go on Facebook at Doctors Warren and shoot us a message, or call Anna at 423-362-5360. Give her your email address. I know there was quite a few men that messaged us that they couldn't get there. So give her a call at 423-362-5360 to get your ebook so you can have these notes. And we're really excited because you'll be launching a men's hormone reset program here in the next couple weeks.
Oh yeah, for sure. No doubt.
But immune system, let's get into that.
Yeah, so, again, if you're just now tuning in, you missed our first segment, the first hour of the show, go back and watch that because I thought it was pretty amazing. We actually got a chance to talk about some of our favorite things that we use to boost our immune system with that elderberry lady. And again, you can check out our products at thatelderberrylady.com, which is really, really cool. But really, when it comes to the immune system, what I wanted to dive into, I just want to kind of break it up into segments so that we could kind of go through, exactly not only what we do, but what we recommend for our patients to do. And so I think really where we have to start is we have to start with what I call like the low-hanging fruit, but I shouldn't call it that. I should call it with like maybe foundations, right? And foundations are really what I think we should talk about the most. So looking at things like, again, diet, right? Let's kind of start there and let's look at, foods and things that we know boost the immune system the most, all right? So when I'm looking at my diet and I say, okay, what are going to be the things that boost my immune system the most? I'm going to say, number one, right, I've got to make sure that I'm consuming high amounts of good quality fat, right?
Yep.
Because that's what my cells are made of. Again, that's what my brain is made of. That's what my nervous system is made of. And so I want to make sure, right, that I'm consuming high amounts of good quality fat. So what would be your favorite immune boosting fat foods that you consume at home?
Man, what I like is I just read this book and it really dug into those medicinal properties of olive oil. I told you.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go home and do a facial with olive oil. Like men, women, put olive oil on your face, drink olive oil, utilize it. But it was really cool because in the book, it was about she went to Israel to go fish in the Sea of Galilee. But she talks about how like her friend was like really sick and she's like, can I help you with anything? And he's like, yeah, go get me a cup of olive oil. And he chugged like half the cup. But the thing is, I mean, antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial. I mean, the foods, I mean, when it comes down to is, before you can heal deeper, like, and I tell this to people that come into the office that have symptoms already, like if they have heart issues or thyroid issues, if they have pain, I say before you can even go deeper, before you start buying all these supplements, before you start detoxing, before you really heal the gut, you have to have a strong foundation in the foods that you're eating. Yeah. And so good quality fats, I mean, olive oil is something, using it on a daily basis is so healing and beneficial, not just for the gut but for the immune system.
Yeah, but not all is created equal, right?
No.
Like what was the study 5 years ago or something like that?
Scary, yeah.
Out of I think it was like University of Texas something or another, like maybe San Antonio or something. But anyway, what they did is they looked at olive oils and they found over 60% of them were cut with rancid vegetable oils and seed oils and things like that. And even now, like, you realize you can't even really go out to restaurants anymore where they're actually using real olive oil. It's almost it's the most annoying thing ever.
It's
like, can we get some olive oil? They're like, yeah, we'll bring out some oil and vinegar. Like, no, olive oil. Well, we don't have any olive oil. It's like canola oil, or it's like mixed with.
They don't even tell you it's canola oil.
You
can just taste a difference.
Yeah,
and so
that's a really good one though. Organic, raw, cold pressed olive oil, right? Good healthy fat, but again, having those immune boosting components to it as well.
And you know what I love, like when someone in our office, so when we coach someone to health, we don't get nervous about this quote unquote flu season or coronavirus season or the measles, which I don't know, just disappeared now because corona is everywhere. But we want these things to happen so that the people that we coach, whether in our office or virtually, they see how their body is able to bounce back. And my favorite thing ever is the holidays. Like we just went through the holidays. And let me go ahead and tell you something. Your body is meant to be put under stress, okay? You're meant to encounter viruses and bacteria, and you're meant to learn how to battle these things and battle them appropriately. But what's happening is we're bypassing that. We're throwing antibiotics like crazy, we're throwing steroids like crazy, and then you wonder why yourself or your loved ones, your grandma, your aunt, something that should have taken a week to get over, they're still dealing with it a month later.
That's right, yeah.
When you want to fight something naturally, you want to make sure you set your immune system up to learn what's going on, to create memory cells. So you want to work with your immune system and not against it. And one of my favorite stories was Mary she came in for thyroid issues. So her thyroid's all out of whack. But she was doing keto and was not doing it well at all.
Dirty keto,
freaking hate it. So what we did is we started working on her nervous system, and we worked on healing her gut. Her nervous system is her gut. Why? Because your immune system begins in your gut. And just so you know, she was on multiple opioids. I don't remember which brand exactly. She was taking 3 different a day to help with her pain levels. But mind you, she just came in. She did not think we were going to help her with her pain. She came in because she wanted to lose weight and she was stuck on keto, which, whatever. We didn't even work with keto. Let me go and tell you, we worked with the nervous system. We healed the gut. Within 30 days, she was down to 1 dose of one of the medications. And now it's been 7 months and she's out of it completely. So over the holidays, she did not get sick. She always gets sick. It always is like this bronchitis thing that somehow turns to immune system. It happens often for her. She went through this whole entire holiday season, number 1, on the lowest dose of thyroid medication she has ever been on. Number 2, no pain medication.
I love it.
Number 3, her bloating in her stomach, which she thought was just a normal process of just eating, is gone. And this is the crazy thing. She's 69. I say that's the crazy thing because you guys come into my office in your 60s and you're like, oh, my life is already over.
It's just because I'm getting older.
Yeah, or you're 40.
Yeah, exactly.
You're 40 years old and you're like, it's because I'm old. And so I do want to encourage you guys as we're sharing this information. We are a resource here in Chattanooga. We have a health center at Hamilton Place. If you would like to we had 4 appointment times. We had 5 for the whole show, 2 hours. We only allowed it once in the first hour. But we have 4 appointment times left. It's usually between 120 and 150. We usually do 60, but for this special 2-hour show, It's just $45. It includes your nervous system scan, any necessary imaging, your physical examination, and consult to sit down with myself or Dr. Nathan. So if you'd like one of those 4 appointment times, give us a call. That number is 423-362-5360. Again, that's 423-362-5360. And be a Mary. Don't be like, what is it? I mean, what are the stats right now with immune stuff, with cancer stuff?
Oh, I mean, well, like some of the ones I went over at the talk, 5 out of 6 Americans being diagnosed with cancer or heart disease. We talked about how 50% of men under the age of 60 with prostate issues, and actually when you hit 80, it's 95% of men in the United States with prostate issues. Testosterone issues, actually went over one that showed that the area in Japan with the most centurions, right, their men have 50% greater testosterone numbers at 100 than our average 50-year-old here in the United States.
It's not because you're getting old, man.
Not because you're getting old. That's exactly right. So again, if you're dealing with any of those issues, maybe you've got prostate issues, maybe you've got testosterone issues, maybe you got hormone imbalance, maybe you got thyroid issues, maybe you've just got neck pain or back pain that's like been debilitating for you. Maybe it's headaches, whatever that is, guys. And when you come in to see us, our goal is very simple. It's to, number one, get to root cause, right? Figure out what's the root cause. And then second, it's to put together a plan that actually helps to get the body well. Why? Because the body is created to heal, right? And so it's all about supporting the body's amazing healing properties, its immune system, its endocrine system, its digestive system, its nervous system. And when we get that going in the right direction, we get to see people, again, not because we take them off their medications, but because their doctors are able to, because they're getting well, get off of 5, 6, 7, 9 different medications. And so that's what we want for people, right? So if you want to come in and see us, 423-362-5360. Again, 423-362-5360 instead of 120 to 150. It's only 45. 423-362-5360. This is Wellness Radio. We'll be right back after the break. All right, so food.
Olive oil.
Go ahead.
It's just like,
yeah?
I'm obsessed with olive oil right now.
Which one do we use? We use Casadrinos. I think it was a good one that we used.
Is that the online one?
That one's online.
Casadrinos. Isn't he like the... Listen, if you guys haven't heard, there's an olive oil mafia. Like, it's like... It's
like liquid gold, apparently. Yeah, I didn't realize that. So, I mean, that's a big deal, right? You want to get the real stuff. I thought that was a really good suggestion as well.
We're talk about immune-boosting foods is things that are fermented. And that was another thing, like kefir.
Like our kids are like in love with that right now. They're drinking a ton of goat's milk.
Goat milk kefir. What is it? Red Hill?
Mm-hmm.
Or Redwood Hill Farm. Mm-hmm. And we love them. We've shared them a ton on our Facebook page. But that's another thing that was really interesting. I love this book that I ate. It's Taste and See. A practice member told me about it. And it looks at foods in the Bible, like how foods back then they were communal, they were medicinal, they were healing, they were nourishing, like all of these foods that they would eat. But what was I going to say? Just like, fermentation. Like they had a lot of exposure to fermented foods. Because they had to find ways to preserve their food. How do they keep their food? How do they make their food last? And inadvertently, they were also consuming so much probiotics. And so we've kind of like, we've gone far away from using food as medicine. Yeah. And so people are more willing to buy probiotics than to eat fermented food. Which is
crazy, right? Yeah. I mean, like you're talking like, 4 times the cost when you could just like, eat most of it. Now, I understand that there's times for, supplementation, and we've been through that in different radio shows and different shows, but, I do think if you can eat it, right, like why would you not do that? So, like some of our favorite fermented foods, we mentioned the goat's milk kefir that we use. Listen, we don't really use hardly any cow's milk, foods or dairy in our house at all, except for like grass-fed butter. But we don't use like cow's milk yogurt, cow's milk, milk, just because of the protein size, and most of it's A1 casein anyway, so it's inflammatory. But we use a lot of like goat's milk product, right? So like raw, like we use goat's milk kefir, we'll use like goat's milk yogurt. Our kids love that. Lots of fat soluble vitamins, right? Vitamins A, D, E, and K loaded in those things. We'll use things like different things like sauerkraut, right? We'll use pickles. The kids love those. Yeah. What are the Bubby's like fermented pickles? What are some other ones? Kimchi we'll use. Ferment like horseradish. We'll actually make our own cocktail sauce, like out of like the unsweetened ketchup.
Okay,
like
cocktail sauce.
Kitchen.
Why are there so many ingredients?
Yeah.
I don't get it. So we made our own cocktail sauce. We used Primal Kitchen ketchup, which is not sweetened, and it's very simple.
Yeah.
And horseradish, did you put some stevia in it?
It's fermented. It's naturally fermented too, yeah. And then I
had
a little
so good.
Yeah, I added like a drop or two of like some stevia or monk fruit, just because again, cocktail sauce at a restaurant's gonna have a little bit of a kind of lightly sweet flavor. So when you do that, it's amazing. I can't even believe that they add all that junk to it.
Welcome back. This is the Wellness Radio. Dr. Rebecca Warren here. I'm here with Dr. Nathan. We are Doctors Warren. You can find us at doctorswarren.com or on Facebook at Doctors Warren. We have a health center located in Hamilton Place, and we do virtual health coaching and courses, academies, and content online and with people all over the U.S. And so today we're talking about the immune system, and we've been going back between like gut health and hormone health and how that affects men. How it can affect women. But the reason why we want to talk about this is because it is a very kind of scary time when we're around antibiotic resistant bacteria, when these viruses. Listen, I want to let you guys know, we are animals. Like, we are going to go through many seasons with viruses and bacteria that we must learn how to adapt to and fight naturally. You're not going to eradicate it. I don't care what you're saying. Like, you're not going to completely eradicate everything unless there is a natural immunity. Natural herd immunity. We're not going to get into that too much. Yeah. But there is a difference between natural herd immunity and artificial herd immunity. Naturally, for centuries, you'll see it within animals that once an animal can learn how to adapt and to learn how to use their memory cells for the rest of their lives to fight a certain quote-unquote disease, they can learn as a herd how to fight it for the rest of their lives. So what we want to make you guys understand, that you have these symptoms that, you can have heart symptoms, so you go to a cardiologist, you have nerve system, you go to a neurologist, you have, kidney issues, you go to a nephrologist, OBGYN, you have these doctors for all your separate symptoms without realizing that they're all pointing to just a dysfunctional body. Whether that's because you're in pain, which is major neurological dysfunction, or whether that's because your hormones are just shot, or that you're not sleeping at night.
Oh, that's good.
Everyone's just like, that's the comment, like, I can't sleep at night. That's because your body internally is a mess, and you're a ticking time bomb before you get something like a virus or a bacteria, and you can't fight it, or before all of a sudden you have a heart attack, or before all of a sudden your thyroid's not working, you need thyroid medication, or before you get diagnosed with cancer. You have to see those symptoms as a major red flag of underlying issues and get down to the stinking cause. Stop treating it. Or I said this to someone and she got offended. I was like, ignoring your symptoms. And she goes, well, I wasn't ignoring it. I did this and this and that. I go, no. When you went to a doctor and you trusted this doctor ignored what was going on with you. Like, this doctor mistreated and kind of misdiagnosed you for years. So then the problem is ignored. Yeah. Because that's why you get off worse. It's all about getting down to the cause.
Yeah, and I think what's also interesting about when we're looking at the immune system is that most people think that you come in contact with a virus and then it's like immediately you start to sneeze and you've got problems and you get sick. But that's not the case. Actually, let me prove it to you. The majority of people, like, what happens? They're working all the time. They're stressed out. They're doing all these different things, and then they finally get a vacation, or they finally get some time off, and what happens to them?
sick.
They get sick. They're like, you know, they're like, man, I finally got 3 days off, and all I did is lay in bed because I got sick, you know, the whole time. Or holidays and Christmas, and again, it's because, you know, your immune system has been taking hits over and over and over and over and over again. Then when you actually do finally get time to rest, we call that getting sick, but what is actually happening? Your body is actually getting well. It now has a time, because you are resting, to say, oh, I'm going to get a fever,
That's
right?
good.
And I'm going to fight it off. Or, you know what? I'm going to get like a snotty nose, or I'm going to get a cough, and it's actually, I'm going to get it out, right? Your body says, now that I finally have time to rest, I'm going to work on healing myself. And we say that we're sick, right? It's completely backwards. We literally look at something like a fever and we say, oh, you know what? I'm getting sick. And I tell every parent that comes in when they bring their kids in, oh, my child's got, you know, he's got a fever today. He's not feeling good. He's sick. I say, no, he's not sick. He's expressing health. Fever is an expression of health, right? It always is. It's an expression of health. It is not being sick. There's two completely different things. Having diabetes, type 2, that's being sick, right? Having something like cancer, that's being sick. Because why? There's an underlying root cause that has literally been building up in the body day after day, month after month, year after year. And again, you show that symptom. That's being sick. That's chronically being sick. But having a fever, right, and fighting that off, that is a healthy immune response. And the problem is that there's so many people that don't have that proper immune response because their immune system is down. Actually, one of the scariest things that I have coming in is when I see a patient, I look at their file and they have all of these chronic issues going on. Maybe they're on a few different medications, and then they tell me this one statement: but doc, I haven't been sick in 10 or 15 years. That is one of the scariest comments I get. You know why? Because guess what that means? That means you're probably building one of two things, either heart disease or cancer, because your body's not engaging in a daily or monthly healing process. And so I know, like, man, if you haven't had a fever in 10 or 15 years, but yet you look at all these chronic diseases, you've got all of these drugs and all of these different problems, buddy, you're on your way, you know, to being diagnosed with cancer, because again, your immune system is not primed, it is down.
So there's also like a fine line though, because there's people that never are getting sick and they're not building up their immune system. And then there are people that are getting too sick. We see kids that are getting reoccurring strep infections, reoccurring bacterial infections, tonsillitis, reoccurring strep. Having too much is just as bad as not having any at all. And just so you know, with children, just going back to what you said about not getting sick, you know, we did a video on, there was a scientist that had been studying leukemia for over 30 years, and he was knighted in the UK for his research, and he pretty much says, I know what's causing this rise in leukemia in children, because he's like, leukemia diagnosis is a developmental, it's a industrial world problem that is increasing each year. And one of the things he says that's a major problem is that within the first year of a child's life, they're not getting sick.
Yes.
They have to get sick, quote unquote. Sick, I hate that word. They have to express. Yeah. They have to
fight something off, right? They have to learn. I like it this way. Your immune system has to be primed.
Yep.
Right? It has to do work.
Yeah, so he says that because they don't have an immune system that they can train, they don't have an immune system that they can prime, now they're 2 to 3 years old, then they finally get sick, and an overactive immune system creates this kind of cascade of events that lead to leukemia. So getting sick, like allowing your immune system to fight something, is powerful. And I say this to people because they'll come in and they'll be like, I think I have back pain because I'm stressed. I think I'm sick because I'm stressed. Stress. Yes, chronic stress continuously really can create disease. Yeah. But I always say this, your body, if us as humans weren't meant to be under stress, we would have died as a species. We would not have survived. We do well under stress, but we have to respond accordingly under stress. Then we have to go to balance and healing. But what's happening is we're not getting under we're not getting under the right stress. We're getting under chronic, unnatural, bad stress. and then we're staying there.
Yep.
And that's where we get stuck. And so, guys, what does this lead to? Yeah, like testosterone issues and like prostate issues, thyroid issues, or like sex hormone issues, pain, and getting colds or flus, eventually developing things like cancer and heart disease. And so our goal is always to walk alongside you, give you the information, whether on the radio show here, that you guys can say, hey, I can do something different. And I'll say this, we do have a resource.
Yeah.
We have a resource of our top 10 products within our medicine cabinet, quote unquote medicine cabinet. If you go to drswarren.com, DRSWARREN.com, go to shop, go to the second thing right there. You can put in your email and get our top medicine cabinet things. You can do that today. But for those of you guys that already have those symptoms, man, this is why we have these appointment times. Yeah. This is why no matter how busy, if you know anyone in our office, we're stinking busy. But that's why no matter how busy we are, we want to give people an opportunity that if this stirs something in them, and we do it for a price that kicks them in the butt to do it, whether this is for you, your husband, your wife, your daughter, your son, what we're doing, instead of between 120 and 150 for this appointment, you can set up an appointment with Anna right now for $45. We have 3 appointment times left, so if you'd like that appointment time, give her a call. That number is 423-362-5360. Again, that's 423-362-5360.
Yep, awesome. And again, guys, we got to go on a quick break. When we get back, we're going to keep diving into the immune system, take it as deep as we can. This is Wellness Radio. We'll be right back after the break. All right, guys, so let's kind of dive back in. I think that was I'm glad we got to get into that. Again, when your child, for example, when they get a fever, when they're, first year of life and they get a fever, or they're exposed to a virus or bacteria, it's actually a good thing. That's something that is great, that is meant to happen. Our immune systems are meant to be primed. That's just the way it's meant to be. And so think about it though. Our whole kind of medical society is based around trying to stop that process from happening, right? Like, think about it for just a second. What is a pediatrician's primary job in the United States to do for kids? It's to stop the cell-mediated part of the immune system. Oh, wait a second, your child is dealing with a fever? You got to give them Tylenol, right? You got to give them an antipyretic to take it down. Or here's, antibacterial or antiviral medication. And again, their bodies never get a chance to actually become resilient, right? It's like anything else in life. If you take a child and you put them in, and we've seen this before, you put them in an environment that they never have to do anything for themselves. Nobody ever challenges them. Nobody ever brings about any type of stress in their life. You produce a really weak adult who struggles their way through life, period. They can't handle any type of stresses. They can't handle anything that comes about, their way. We know that stress can lead to resiliency if again, appropriately, watched and made sure that again, the immune system is ready for that. So that is exactly why I think that was a really good topic to talk about. And that's why I want all of you guys to have kids when they're getting like fevers, when they're getting the snotty nose, when they're having the cough. Tell them you're expressing health. You're not sick, you're expressing health. It's 2 completely different things. And start retraining the way that they think as well. And start understanding that, guess what? Those natural immune responses are a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's not a negative thing. That's a great thing. Even though you don't feel great, doesn't mean that something bad is always happening on the inside of the body. And
I get it. It's crazy because I'll see a lot of parents and they'll say my child is just not feeling well, and so I only give them Tylenol just to comfort them. There's many ways that we can comfort a child as they're fighting something naturally. And this isn't an alternative, alternative medicine, just a functional medicine approach. This is amongst hospitals nationwide that are saying you don't need to do anything with a fever. You can give the kid a bath. You can cuddle with them. Sometimes we'll give Elijah coconut water popsicles. We'll give them herbs that are safe for children to help soothe. And again, we have 2 different resources that you can see what we use. You can go to drswarren.com, go to our blog post. We have a brand new blog post, brand newish, about our medicine cabinet, and also go to our store, and you can submit your email to get a list of our top supplements that we keep on hand. Because that's the other thing, you have to be prepared.
Yeah.
Doing things naturally does not mean you're doing things easier.
That's right, yeah.
You might need to feel a little sucky for a hot minute before you get better. You know, that was the one thing. I got strep and tonsillitis and double ear infection. The only reason I know that, it was a couple weeks. Right? It was when everyone was getting it.
Yeah. She got hit hard.
I got hit hard, yeah. But the only reason I know it's that is because someone else had similar. That's how I find out what I have. Because people that have similar symptoms, they go to the doctor and they get tested. I'm like, oh, that sounds like me. I guess that's what I had. But I got it by Thursday night. I think you guys thought I was faking it because I couldn't talk. And I had this coaching group.
Faking it.
Yeah, I was like, I can't talk. I have to reschedule my coaching group. And you and Mary Beth were like,
oh, okay.
How? You were talking like 2 hours ago. Friday, I got knocked out. Still had to deal with the kids. Saturday, it was so bad that if you would have given me a rusty knife and said, to stop this pain, you can cut out your tonsils today, I would have done it.
That's such a horrible picture.
That's how bad it was. Then after Saturday, I rested. I was actually able to rest. You were able to help with the kids. Then Sunday, I jumped back. Monday, it was gone. 4 days. I hear people having that same issue for weeks or a couple of months. You have to work with your immune system, not against it. Also, don't cut your tonsils out with like rusty knives.
All right, guys, welcome back to Wellness Radio. I'm your health expert, Dr. Nathan Warren. I'm here with Dr. Rebecca Warren, and we are Doctors Warren here live every Saturday from 10 to 11. Today we had a special 2-hour show that we got to do. And so if this is your first time tuning in, welcome. We're super excited to have you here. We are local doctors here in Chattanooga, located in the Hamilton Place area, across from the YMCA, right next to the Home Depot. And there we work with, kids of all ages, adults of all ages, athletes, people who are trying to optimize their performance, to people with, hormone struggles, to autoimmune issues, to neck pain, back pain, headaches, to people in car accidents and whiplash injury. All of those things, right, we work with in our office, and we do it with a way that says, number one, your body's created to heal. Number two, it's the nervous system that governs that process. Number three, right, it's up to you to do the work and the action that it takes to do that. Number four, it's up to us to supply the information and the proper pathway, an organized pathway to get to that result that you want to get to. And when we do that, we get to see amazing results, and it's a lot of fun.
Can I be transparent with you on something?
I hope so.
Okay, so I always am. I'm not too transparent with everyone. So
yeah, maybe sometimes you need to.
A little too much. Yeah. I know. Put a filter on, but I actually really like personal injury cases. You guys know that.
Yeah.
Okay. I like PI. If you've been in a car
accident. When you first used to talk about it, I'm like, you're crazy.
No, this is why I like it. Number one, because when you've been in a car accident, you are so sadly desperate to feel well again or to make sure you're okay that you're willing to do whatever it takes to get better.
Good point.
Like when you come in from a car accident into our office, I mean, I'll never, who was it? I forgot her name. You know what I'm talking about. Her car flipped. Long black hair. Anyways, okay, whatever. I just had a brain fart. She had came in, and when I took her x-rays, she couldn't even move, right? And so I like it for two different reasons. Number one, when you come in, you really want to get well. You put the two and two together that if I continue in this path, this is going to be really, really bad. And number two, your insurance, that's the only time insurance will be like, oh, yeah, this is important. Outside of that, health insurance is like, I don't care if your pain went from a 10 to a 5. This is as good as you're going to get. Yeah. But anyways, I love it because when people are committed, they make their schedule, they want to see those changes on their x-ray. We see stinking amazing results.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's not because, you were in an accident. It was because you came in, you were committed, you were really wanting help, you really wanted to get this well, and you were going to do it. You were going to do whatever it takes. And we see such amazing results. So I have to say that. I have to be like, so if you guys are in a car accident, come on in.
Yeah.
We're going to help you get well, but it's because you're committed.
And I think what's also really cool is then we get a chance to actually educate them on the process as well. Because what I usually see is that when people, go in for personal injury cases, it's like, here, pound down hot spots, jump on a roller bed and a massage table, and we'll see you later. And unfortunately, there's no education on the process. There's no talking about, like, one of the things I actually mentioned in the Ultimate Guide to Men's Health. I showed them the study. I actually had three men that came in this week, like, before I could even say anything in the exam room, like, I can't believe this study that you showed me, that showed that, again, following patients over a 10-year process that followed a car accident or a whiplash injury, and they had HPA axis dysfunction. What does that mean? It means they can't adapt to stress, their adrenals are stressed out, their cortisol levels are shot, all because they were in an accident 10 years.
But I didn't
10
go
years
to the
before.
hospital. Well, okay, even if you went to the hospital, they're looking for a broken bone. They're not looking for the structure.
That's right.
I mean, you can have, the signs of degeneration decades later. So again...
You want to talk about damaging your immune system?
Yeah.
That's a quick way to do it, is getting an accident and again, not take care of your actual nervous system.
Yeah. So if this is you guys, you're like, oh crap, this is me. I need to get myself checked out. You need to get your husband, your wife checked out. Make an appointment with our office. We're located in Hamilton Place. That number's 423-362-5360. Again, that's 423-362-5360. We have 2 appointments left for the rest of the hour. You can get that at the price of $45 to come in and get yourself evaluated. But that you're right. Oh my gosh. If your spine's a wreck, your immune system is just... Yeah. I see it happen all the time.
It's absolutely damaged because of what you went over earlier, that again, the better you adapt, right? The better you adapt to the stresses you're under, because we're all under stress, right? Everybody that's listening to my voice right now, you are all under stress at some fashion or some form. Just most people, when they see the word stress, they only think about emotional, right? You don't always think about the physical stresses. Like right now, maybe you're like at home watching on Facebook, sinking into a recliner that's super comfy, but it's like shooting your head forward just like this, which is a postural position that we know stimulates the sympathetic nervous system, right? So it makes your body feel like a tiger's chasing you. Yeah. Or, it's chemical stresses that maybe right now, you're sitting, outside and your neighbor's spraying, herbicides all over their lawn to get ready for spring. But bottom line is, the better you adapt to stress, the stronger your immune system is going to be, the stronger your hormones, your endocrine system is going to be, the better your digestive system is going to be, the more calm your nervous system is. All of these different things, they tie into it, the better that you adapt to stress. And so we have to create, an environment within the body that adapts better.
And I hate using the word stress because I've had this multiple times where someone's like, oh, I'm not stressed out. Life is pretty good. Listen, your body, if you're being hunted or your life is in danger, that's stress. Then you have a fight, you have a broken relationship with your mom, you haven't spoken to your sister in a couple of decades, you have toxic, friend relationships or toxic love relationships, or you're unhappy at work. That's emotional stress. You have chemical stressors when you walk into a room and you're bombarded by fragrance and your brain gets lit on fire.
Febreze.
And you don't know that. Yeah, Febreze, or like even these colognes and perfumes. Chemical stresses, and then those physical stresses from the body. And so all of these stresses, your body doesn't say, oh, no, this is okay. This is real stress because my life is in danger. I'm about to fall off a cliff. Or this is stress because of broken relationships, because I'm stuck in this negative cycle, because I'm stuck in pain. Stress is stress. So we're not talking about, oh, is your life crazy? There's stress can show up in different ways. Listen, there's certain things I tell people we cannot get rid of for you. I can't deal with your job problems. I can't deal with your crazy daughter. I can't deal with this broken relationship. But what you can do, what you are in charge of, is your body's starting point. If you're starting off overwhelmed, stressed, and your immune system overactive and shot, you're going to respond poorly to any outside stressors. You are in control of where you begin.
Yep.
But if your body is balanced, then you can handle stress and bounce back from that.
Yep. I like to give a really quick example of this. Judy, who just started with us in the office, right? Like, she came in, I want to say it was 2.5 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. So literally she just started. And some of her primary goal is to improve function, right? Because she came in on a cane, with the amount of pain that she was in, but also too just to help adapt to stress. Well, here's what's really cool, right? So again, just getting started with her, she's already off of her cane, right? And she told me yesterday that this is already the best she's felt in years, which is fantastic,
well,
right?
Yeah.
But again, why?
It's amazing.
But why? It's because, again, we're helping her nervous system adapt, right? That's all we're doing. I'll tell you guys right now, when you come into our office, there is no magic pill, right? There's no magic bullet, right? There is a system, right, that helps you to, again, keep the body adapting to stress over and over again. And one of those is working on balancing the nervous system. And so for her, we started working on all that pelvic rotation that she had for years, which is the reason it led her to, again, having to walk with a cane. And now all of a sudden, and it doesn't happen the same way with everybody, right? Some people that, again, have issues with pelvic rotation, maybe they're on a cane, maybe it takes 3 months, maybe it takes 2 years, whatever it is, their healing time. But for her, it was literally within 2.5 to 3 weeks.
I mean, I remember
she's already starting to get well. So
Mary Beth in the office was like, Judy came in without a cane. I was like, what? And we ran out of my office to look for her, and she had left already. Yeah. She walks faster too.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's why we couldn't find her. We ran out because I make a big deal about people. Yeah. That's why we have testimonials on our page, on Facebook, and our Doctor's Warren page. But I want to let you guys know, I know we had a couple of calls. If you guys don't get through, to make that appointment time, make sure you leave a voicemail or stick it through, stick to it. Well, I don't know how many with the calls we have, but we had 2 before. If you like one of those appointment times with us, it's just $45 instead of $120. You can give us a call, 423-362-5360. Now, when we come back from the break, we're going to do a lightning round.
Okay.
All right? You guys are going to stay tuned to this, or go on Facebook and watch it if you're getting out of the car. I'm going to do a lightning round. I'm going to ask you our top questions that we get asked about the immune system.
Great.
Like supplements. If you get sick, what do you do? How about this? We're going to just do a lightning round, and we're going to pick Dr. Nathan's brain, because I'm not going to lie. Even when I don't feel well, I'm like, all right, tell me what to do, dude. But when we come back, we're going to do the immune system lightning round with Dr. Nathan. This is the Wellness Radio.
All right. Megan, good to see you on here. Ruthie, that was super nice. Thank you for saying that. We appreciate it. All right. So, that was kind of a fun segment. I loved getting into that.
Yeah,
because
just understanding things better.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And again, dealing with stress, it's about how well you adapt, right? I like to give this example. Think about this for just 1 minute. So the difference between, everybody's got that uncle, right, who he's 96 years old, he's smoked his entire life, he's drank his entire life, he just cusses all the time, he's always in a bad mood, he eats whatever he wants, he's never worked out a day in his life, and yet nothing will kill him, he just won't die. And then you've got this young girl who's 23 years old, she shops at Whole Foods, she does yoga, she's walking around all of her Lululemon gear, all this kind of stuff, and yet she's diagnosed with ovarian cancer, right? What's the difference between those two individuals? It's one is able to adapt, right, to their toxic environment, both internally and externally, better than this one is able to adapt, even though there's less toxins over here, there's better nutrition, their bodies are not adapting the same, right? It's all about how well you adapt, and that is exactly why that's got to be the foundation of any health protocol that's out there, is how are you helping the body to adapt to stress, right? And so that's why, number one, we always talk about chiropractic care. Even if you live somewhere else, in the country, even if you're nowhere near us, even if you live here and you don't see us, you've got to be, I can't stress enough, it's the greatest biohack ever invented by mankind, which I think it's God's gift. But anyway, it's literally, it's amazing at balancing the nervous system.
And I have people that are like, oh yeah, I have a chiropractor. I go only when I feel bad. I literally will tell them, because they'll come in to see us for functional wellness coaching, and I'm like, you are... Yep. 911, you need to call your chiropractor, you need to go in and see them, because you need help at adapting better. Also, you need to work on those pain levels. Also, you need to work on your mindset.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, you're not utilizing your chiro as great as you could.
Yes,
and let me go ahead and tell you, me, I don't feel well. I know I'm fighting something. We check each other every day.
Yeah.
We might not need it every day, but I'm going to check myself every day, make sure I'm boosting my immune system. Same thing for my kids.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And we know, right? We know that whenever you're getting something like an adjustment, we've seen these studies already, which is fantastic. We know you can get things like a boost in CD4 count. You get a boost in T cells. We know that your immune system actually upregulates, which is pretty amazing. We know that it affects the brain, right? Specifically the hypothalamus of the brain, which helps you adapt to stress. And so every time somebody lays on my table, which I know it's the same for a lot of chiropractors out there, when you're laying on their table, their primary goal is to help you better adapt to stress. That's it, right? That's the primary goal, and all else gets to follow, which is exciting.
Even if there's some chiros out there that are a little lost and they say their primary goal is just pain and pain only.
Like, either way, even in those cases, every adjustment's powerful, right?
Removing the interference, and that's a big thing for us. That even if one day, I retire one day, that's still going to be a big part of what I talk about, because it changed my life. Like, I wouldn't have been able to start on healing from, thyroid cancer and radiation if I had not brought down this major stressor. I had a reverse curve in my neck. It was backwards.
Yeah.
That's just nuts.
Oh yeah. Well, and there's no, even looking at it from a performance standpoint, just go, you can do a simple search and look at some of the top athletes that have the best life after retirement, and they all have one thing in common. So they all got consistent chiropractic care throughout their time.
You might hate Tom Brady, but Tom Brady is one of the best, and he's old, right?
Yep.
For football, I don't know. We talked about this, right? What is he, like 40-something?
42, I think, or something.
But this is something he's still at his prime. Like, in regards to being a football player, like when people are literally falling apart, the way that he eats, the way that he takes care of his body is exceptional, which is why he can still move on. Now, lightning round. We're going to ask these questions here.
If you have questions, you can ask them too.
All right, guys, welcome back to the second hour of the Wellness Radio. We are wrapping up this immune talk. We had that elderberry lady in the first hour. We talked about a lot of that. We really kind of talked about, most of our show is just changing your thoughts and ideas of being sick and what your immune system needs. But now let's go ahead and ask Dr. Nathan some of our top, most frequently asked questions when it comes to fighting something or getting immune system. So getting our immune system up. So what are, just take it down to just, let's say top three supplements, because I'll ask you about viral bacteria. Just three.
Oh, man.
Three. Because we're going to talk about supplements, but guys, like I said, on doctorswarren.com, we have a blog post of what's in quote-unquote our quote-unquote medicine cabinet. There isn't any medicine there. And then we also, in our stores section, you can sign up to get our, the exact supplements that, that we like to fight stuff. But three for immune system, top three.
Man, so number one is going to be vitamin D, right? I've got to get that. If somebody's deficient in vitamin D, it doesn't matter how much elderberry, echinacea, anything else that they take, it's not going to work very well. Vitamin D is an immunomodulator as well, right? But it's also involved in, I think one study I showed almost 2,700 different processes in the body. So it's it's wild, and there's probably even more. That's just what we know of right now. So vitamin D has got to be a part of that. And when you're under stress, you're going to go at higher amounts, right? So I usually tell, if it's an adult, anywhere from 10 to 20,000 IUs, right, to really get a boost. I like that surrounded, though, by other fat-soluble vitamins, right? So even though that's not top of my three, I'm going to sneak it in there with, vitamin A and vitamin K.
That's going to be your second. All right, what are your other two, Doc?
And then I really love olive leaf extract a lot.
Yep, me
olive
too.
Leaf extract is one that we use quite a bit. Olivirex is really, my go-to with that one, because olive leaf extract has been shown to be antiviral, right? Antibacterial, antiparasitic, antifungal. But really, it's also helps to really strengthen the immune system a lot.
Or you can do what the guy from Israel in my book did: just drink half a cup of olive oil.
Yeah, or you drink half a cup of olive oil. Yeah, that's right.
The third one.
And then the third third one, oh man, I'm going to go with minerals, right? Zinc, selenium, magnesium. I think if you are deficient in those, again, those are the people that are, getting sick. Like, you fight it and then it comes back. You fight it, it comes back. Fight it, come back. Usually it's a deficiency in those minerals, zinc, selenium specifically, and magnesium.
So we have to wrap up here on the radio. We're going to keep on going for these other 2 questions on our Facebook. So if you want to hear the rest of that, go to Facebook, Doctors Warren, like and follow. But we're going to wrap up with these other questions about like what his day looks like when he's not feeling well. How does he eat, or does he fast? And then one more question there. I just forgot it. But guys, this is the Wellness Radio. If you'd like one of our appointments, you can give us a call at 423-362-5360. We're here every single Saturday morning from 10 to 11 live. We put a lot of amazing content on our Facebook. And if you'd like our men's health event note packet ebook, you can also call that same number at 423-362-5360, and we will email it out to you over the weekend so that you can have it.
All right, guys. This is Wellness Radio. We'll see you next time.
Okay. So I think a really good question.
Man, I'd love to get adjusted every day. Yeah, I know, right? It's great. That's why I married my chiropractor.
Sometimes I'm like, dude, just like, I'll get out of the shower. He's like, can you adjust me? I'm like, not right now.
I really married her because she's really hot. So that was the main reason.
And then second is because I'm a chiropractor.
Second because she's a chiropractor.
All right. So one thing I would love for you to do is to paint a picture of when you do get, like when you are expressing symptoms.
Yeah.
What does that day look like for you? Because I think you do really, really good with that.
Yeah, so, all right, so my first step is I fast pretty much all day long. I just fast.
Water or broth too, right?
Yeah, either way. So I'll kind of decide. Like if I'm in a really stressed state where I've been dealing with a lot of stress, lately, so I will do a lot of I'll do like bone broth, right? I'll do like more of a broth fast if I've been stressed a lot, and like lots of herbal teas and things like that. But if I feel like I haven't really been stressed, it's more just because I have like a recent exposure to something, then I'll just water fast all day, right? And I'll still have some herbal teas in there as well, just because those are really powerful. They're not going to kick me out of autophagy, and again, it's still going to allow my immune system to work well.
You know what I think back to? Do you remember I talked about how I had like strep and all of that?
Yeah.
And I'm so glad you said minerals.
Yeah.
Before the break, but do you remember what I wanted to, like, I fasted except for, what did you make me, like 2 or different.
I'm trying to remember what it was in.
Come on, what did you make me?
I don't remember. I really don't. Oh yeah, that's right.
What did you make me?
Yeah, she craved scallops. She craved scallops, and I was like, that's super weird. But then we thought about it.
Minerals.
Yeah, high amounts of minerals.
High amounts of minerals.
Yeah.
That my body was just like really, really neat. I can't believe you don't remember.
I didn't remember.
Like it was a lot of scallops too, and you're like, "Are you sure you want this?" I was like, "I just feel like I need it."
Yeah.
But most of the time we just fast.
Scallops, that's true. Yeah, I mean, just high in minerals. But yeah, just fasting is one of my favorite things to do. So either bone broth fasting or water fasting. Lots of herbal teas throughout the day. I mean, that was one that I think you really kind of taught me more of. Like she drinks, when you get sick, like you drink lots of herbal teas that make sure they're organic. I actually stay away. I usually stay away from caffeine, right? And not necessarily because I think caffeine is bad. I just don't want any cortisol response, right? I want to try to keep my body as balanced as I possibly can, and do it that way. And so then I will take, I'll still take supplements though during my fast, because I want to make sure I'm giving my body, the best chance of not only healing, but the supplies that it needs. And so, I'll make sure that I still get like maybe it's liquid trace minerals in my water. I like to use things like, again, olive leaf extract that we mentioned, all your fat soluble vitamins. Post. Yeah, all the things in the blog post, we use a lot of that stuff.
And we tried a sauna.
Yep, and we got an infrared sauna.
I'm going to sweat out, kind of elicit this internal fever to help that healing process.
And then try to sleep. Yeah, rest as much as you possibly can. Oh yeah, for sure.
I get it. Like when I was sick with that crazy strep, I mean, I had to wake up the kids woke up extra early, and you had to go to the office. And I remember dropping my kids off at 4 school, and the teachers were like, because I looked rough.
And actually, I think that's a great time to supplement with like a good plant-based melatonin too, right? Just to put yourself into a deeper sleep.
That's a good way to use melatonin.
Yeah, I think that's a proper time to do it, just to upregulate your immune system and really heal a lot. So,
well, thanks you guys for tuning in. All those resources are on our website. You guys have a beautiful Saturday.
See you guys.